Welcome everyone to another episode of Jai After Dark. Today we're going to be discussing White Lotus, Season 3, Episode 1. And Shubnam, why am I not in Thailand?
Sameem, I don't know why you're not in Thailand. You could have gone to Thailand, but, apparently some NBA games were a little more important. I wanted you to check out that White Lotus resort and get some pictures. We take our jobs seriously here at Jai After Dark, but I don't know.
Ultimately, it would have taken me 3 days to get there, like the patriarch from the family from the South. He just wanted to chill, have some drinks, but I don't know. I could have taken some pictures and some videos. I don't think I would have had a great time at the White Lotus in Thailand. Even though we're only one episode in, I feel like the characters are already more annoying than season 1 and 2.
Yeah, but you could have made Belinda feel a little more comfortable with there being like another brown person there. So
also, hello Lisa from BLACKPINK. If she was going to be my wellness guide, I probably would have gone to Thailand. Also, we can't, Jai After Dark, our budgets don't afford the $40,000 a night suites that they're staying in. So, help us out, subscribe on Patreon and or jaiafterdark.com. But I'm pretty excited to talk about this. But my love for humanity went down just a little bit, even in this first episode.
Yeah. There's some weird ass characters here. There's some shenanigans. I'm looking forward to the season and how it's going to shake out. But one thing I really, really enjoyed was seeing the beauty of Thailand when we first started the episode. It is stunning. The monkeys in the trees and the still water and the lily and the white lotus on the water. Like beautiful. You just feel like you're there. I really liked that. And the music. The music is fire. The soundtrack for this, I was like Shazamming the whole episode through.
Hey, can we drop that Thailand song right here?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it. That's a great song. I think I'm going to put that into my YouTube playlist. And yes, I use YouTube Music. I don't use Spotify. So everybody don't send me hate mail. That's a great song.
Yeah. What I'd read about the season that it was going to start off a little slow. And then in the fourth or fifth episode, it was going to speed up. But it came in hot. This episode came in really hot. Yeah. I was like, what is going on? So we start off with a character named Zion, who's a new character. He's a mixed guy, very good looking. I don't know why I needed to say that, but hey.
Hello.
And then he's being led in a meditation session by Shalini Paris's character, Amrita, Dr. Amrita, I should say. And all of a sudden, there's the sound of gunshots, which she's such a great meditator. She kind of blocks out. And he's like, hey, there's gunshots. And she's like, oh my gosh. And the glass walls of their meditation room end up getting shot out. And he runs out saying, like, my mom is there. I need to find my mom. And he goes into the water and is trying to peek around this, resort that's like built into, what is it, like a pond?
Well, so listeners, we're being very serious. Shabnam and I actually were going to send me to Thailand this week, and I was going to record. This was supposed to be me recording from Thailand, and it was supposed to be Shabnam, obviously in California. But I did look it up. They're like building resorts and stuff into mountains and into just like nature and preserves. And one thing I wanted to point out here is I'm not familiar with like in the United States, there's protected land, right? Federal protected land, state protected land. So I do want to check out where this was filmed, and then I want to have an update for episode 2 because it's super curious, like you said. I don't know where it's built into, because I know Costa Rica has a lot of like beautiful resorts built into the mountains, and those are the White Lotus types because it takes forever to get there, and the staff that works there is very whatever happens in Costa Rica or White Lotus stays in White Lotus. So I really am more curious about, because it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's like, so beautiful.
We need to know where it is.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So Zion ends up jumping in the water, going to look for his mom, and he runs into this statue, which I believe is the Thai spiritual statue of the god Rama. And he prays to the statue, and then he prays to the statue, and then he prays to Jesus, and then he yells at the statue, and then he turns around and
Yeah,
there's an alligator coming after him. So I was
yeah.
like, this is interesting. Is this like a respect your local culture omen kind of thing for this season? I don't know,
So
but
it's
it was
supposed to be like
interesting.
spirituality, right? So
Yeah.
let's do a quick recap of season 1 and season 2. Season 1 was 6 episodes, and the flash forward that happens is one body, right?
Right.
Coming out of like in the opening scene. Season 2,
Mhm.
multiple bodies. Now
Mhm.
season 3, alligators, a ton of gunshots, probably 12 to 15 gunshots we heard while he's getting his meditation done. But Shabnam, you know who this actor is? Zion?
Who?
He's Ava DuVernay's son.
Whoa. Oh my
And
gosh.
she's
Okay.
a Academy Award nominated director. I think she made Selma, Wrinkle in Time. And then
Wow.
When They See Us on TV, I
Oh,
think she's the
interesting.
first African American woman to win Best Director at the Sundance Film Festival.
Mhm.
She's also the first African American woman to direct it with a $100 million budget. So
Wow, that's amazing.
that's her son. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So
Very
Belinda, the
interesting.
White Lotus, who seems like a great mom, and then obviously we don't know if Ava DuVernay
Yeah.
is a great mom, but that's
Yeah.
cool. This guy's
Yeah.
I can see how he's cast in the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for sure.
We love
Totally.
nepotism. Yeah, Hollywood
Well, there's some
nepotism.
more.
I don't think that exists, right?
No, of
There's a
course not.
lot
I
in this
mean,
series. Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot in this series. Yeah, we're going to get to some more.
Uh huh.
So,
Yeah.
after this whole crazy intro gunshot, alligator in the water scene, we get a flashback 1 week earlier and we see Belinda's on a boat with a lot of rich white people. There's a family with 3 adult children, the Ratliffs. There's a couple where the man is much older. The man's name is Rick and the woman's name is Chelsea. And then there's 3 middle-aged girlfriends, a celebrity woman named Jacqueline and her 2 friends, Kate and Lori. And they all end up arriving to the resort. We see that famous scene of the resort folks waving to them as they come
Hmm.
in. And then we see the character Fabian, who's the hotel manager. So, he's like the Armand from season 1. And who was it? Victoria?
Uh, yeah, the Italian hotel
Y-
manager.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from season 2. Yeah.
very consistent character presentation, very consistent opening scenes, the boat, and
Yeah.
then throughout the episode, I saw you on the boat. I saw you on the boat, and that's how the characters start talking to each other, right? So
Mhm.
it's great because casual interactions like that is going to build up to something.
Yeah.
We don't actually know what happens, and we get to watch this one episode at a time. It's a little bit different for us, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool. It's
it's
going
kind
to
of
be
nice.
fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So then we meet Mook, who you mentioned earlier. She's Lisa from BLACKPINK, and she escorts some folks to their rooms. So we start to get a feel for their characters in this. The family is really weird. They have the husband and wife, which are Timothy and Victoria, and then the 3 children, Saxon, Piper, and Lachlan. And Saxon is a really weird character who
He's the
just gets
Shane of season
weirder and
3.
weirder. He's
Yeah,
the what? Shane?
yeah. He's
Is he
like
the
kind of the
Shane?
Shane.
I feel like he's
I mean, you
worse.
think, yeah, he's definitely worse, but he's more
He's
like,
like hitting
yeah,
on
he's
his
like the
sister.
oh god, yeah. I don't know what to say about this because it's really early on, and
Yeah.
it's just like I feel in terms of foreshadowing that it's not going to be an incestual thing, but the way episode 1 sets it up, it's very creepy. They're checking
Yeah.
each other out and then calling each other attractive and hot, and how the sister's not gotten laid, and I'm just like, this is weird.
Yeah.
So
He's
it's
mostly
strange.
I mean, I think that's mostly coming from him. What I get a sense of is he's just an over-sexualized person that sexualizes everything. Like, he tries to hit on Chelsea when he sees her without her boyfriend at the pool
Yeah,
later. He's talking about how his sister's hot, but she hasn't gotten laid. He's talking about how can he masturbate in the room that he shares with his brother. I guess he's gonna have to go to the bathroom and watch porn. Like, he's just this really weirdly over-sexualized person, and it's
he's
crazy.
also naked when he gets out of the bed with his brother and walks into the bathroom, pulls up the porn, and he's naked, and the brother is checking him out, for lack of a better phrase, because that's
Is
how
the
they
brother
portrayed it.
is the brother checking him out, or is the brother like, "What the fuck is
It's
going
the
on?"
situation. Yeah, he's checking out the situation,
Yeah.
and he's a high school senior, right? So the brother is encouraging the younger brother to get laid, to find women, money, power. That's what these guys do, and he's played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, the older
Mhm.
brother, Saxon, and he just wants to be like his dad. And the dad is getting phone calls throughout the series from a Wall Street Journal reporter asking him about some of his business, and it's pretty vague. We don't know what he did, but there's some shady financial shit going on here, and then some weird, creepy shit within the family as well. And that's the five people that Shubnum referred to. But the daughter is supposed to be like innocent. She's there
Yeah,
for
and
education.
yeah, and so what you're talking about, the dad getting phone calls from a reporter about like a fund he potentially may have helped set up in 2018 with someone else that has some ties to the government of Brunei. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then he's
Yeah.
in Thailand. So is he actually there to like meet someone? And like them going there for his daughter's thesis, is that just like a cover? Who knows? So that's the other piece to this family where Piper, the daughter, is doing her thesis on Buddhism, and apparently the whole family needs to take a trip to Thailand for that. So they're all there at this luxury resort, and then she goes off one day with her little brother Lachlan to the temples in Thailand, and they basically go to the entrance of the temple grounds where there's like a bunch of smaller temples in there, I believe. I actually went there in
What?
2004. Yeah, so I
To that
went to these, and
temple?
what
To
was that?
that temple.
Yeah, I went to temples in Bangkok, and it looked very similar. Again, this was 2004, so it was a long time ago. But I'm gonna double check that. I'm gonna come back next week and let you guys
Yeah.
know if it's the same
That's got
ones.
the,
But
it's probably an actual physical picture, right? 2004. So find that
yeah,
and
yeah, I
let's
know, I
compare.
know, I know. But yeah, it's like grounds that you go into, and then there's a lot of beautiful temples inside. And so they kind of just went to the outside, and she said she wasn't ready to go
Yeah.
inside, which was interesting and weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that. Like, what do you need to be ready for to
It's a
I
lot
don't
of
know. It was odd.
foreshadowing here. We don't
Yeah.
know what's going to happen. Hey, she might be, this White Lotus is filled with surprises, right? The actual
Yeah.
series. So she might be the worst character out of all five. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to mention about Thailand and temples is Thailand is one of the only countries that has not been colonized by the Western world. And that's why when you do go to Thailand, which I've never been, and that's, again, I'm supposed to be there today. I wanted to check out these temples, and I wanted to check out the architecture because it's supposed to be untouched for
Mm,
thousands of years. So that's why the temples are everywhere in Bangkok, on islands, all over the country, because hey, they weren't destroyed and pillaged, right? So
yeah.
it's kind of sad, but it's also kind of nice that
Yeah,
Thailand
to
was
see
able to
something.
retain their, I don't know if it's nice that they were able to retain their monarchy because it is a monarchy, but yeah, overall I think Shubham and I are pretty curious about like the geography and the location of the temples. So let's do a little bit more research. It's kind of exciting
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the family, and the mom is a little
The
weird,
mom.
right?
The mom loves
Does
the
she have
sex jokes.
substance? It's like her children can do no wrong, and maybe Saxon is like her golden child,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
he's a weirdo, and no matter how weird he is, she doesn't see it. But she
Yeah.
also seems like she's never really present. Like, they make that comment about her at dinner where Piper says, "Let's all be present," and the mom's like falling asleep, and I feel like
Yeah,
that's
zones out.
also
And then she comes
yeah.
back with like more energy, and then she just reads in bed. But so that's Parker Posey, the mom.
Mhm. Mhm.
And Parker Posey was in Coyote Ugly, and I used to watch that movie on repeat where they
Nice.
dance on the bars.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know when that movie came out, like 99, or it came out a long time ago because I
Yeah, I
remember
like
I
that
was
movie
like
too, yeah.
barely 23 or something in the
Yeah.
late 90s, early 2000s, and I went to Vegas, and there's a
Uh-huh.
Coyote Ugly bar. It was in like New York or something, and it looks exactly
Yeah,
like it. So I was
yeah.
like, holy shit, Parker Posey. But I don't know what's going on with her except that she went to University of North Carolina. The dad went to Duke, and the main thing is Lachlan, the son, needs to figure out where he's going to school. And the dad is like, "Fuck, are you talking about? You're going to Duke?" And the mom is like,
Yeah,
"Tar Heels." So it's just, we
yeah,
talk about South Asian pressure that we've had and stuff, but Shubnam,
yeah.
it's consistent. Like,
Yeah.
you could feel the pain in his face because he doesn't want to disappoint either parent. But also, I find it hilarious that they get off the boat and the first thing they start talking about is UNC versus Duke. Like, Mook from BLACKPINK in Thailand on
Yeah.
an island is going to give a shit about your prestigious universities. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am already in a. This is the third season of White Lotus, and these characters are meant to trigger us, I think. And
Yeah.
there's like 30,
Yeah.
40,000 people that go to UNC. Who cares? Not
Yeah.
like who cares, but it's like Sage went to UNC. You know my buddy Sage. Shout out
Yeah.
Sage. Like
Shout out Sage.
he's not throwing it in my face, right?
Yeah.
But no, I think it was another foreshadowing that family's supposed to be kind of like Steve's on and
Oh yeah. The
Connie
Moss
Britton's
backers.
family, the Moss backers in
Yeah.
season 1. You don't know what's going on, but there's some stuff that's going to come out.
Yeah, totally. So we're ready for that. The next set of folks is the couple,
Yeah.
Chelsea and her boyfriend. They're trying to work out some of their issues. What's his name again? Rick, right? Rick
I mean,
Hatchett.
he's Walter
That's his
Goggins.
name.
He's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course his name's Rick. It's probably not his
Rick.
real
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
It's probably not his real name.
I
His
mean, he's a
character's
little
real name?
shady, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, his character's real name. There's something shady going on with Rick as well. Like, he's not there for vacation, and they make it pretty obvious.
Yeah. Right away, as soon as Chelsea steps away from him, he asks Mook, right? Or does he ask? He
He's
asks
staring
the.
at Mook when
Yeah.
Mook takes him. So let's talk about the boat scene, right? So the family comes
Okay.
off the boat, talks about UNC and
Yeah.
Duke, whatever. We already talked about that. They get
Mhm.
off the boat. He's basically like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
The hospitality
I know.
greeters. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do another foreshadowing here. He ends up being a good guy,
Interesting.
right?
Okay.
Like, it's come on, man. They're trying to like
Yeah.
trick us up,
Throw us
right?
off.
So
Yeah.
let's keep an open mind. Like, I think everybody here could be good, could be bad, but season 1 and season 2, you kind of know who's good and bad, right? But
Yeah.
I think there might be something different in season 3.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. But right away, he asks
Mhm.
hospitality about Srithela, the owner of the hotel, the Thai woman, right? He asks, like, is she married? And they say yes. And he asks, is her husband here? And they say no. And it's like, okay, why are you interested? Right. And then we see all these scenes of him interacting with Chelsea, and they have like a strained relationship. It comes out they're there to work on their issues. And he doesn't seem to care that much about her. Right? He's,
No,
like,
he
never
seems
paying
a
attention to
little,
her.
yeah. It's kind of strange because Greg from season 1 and 2 makes an appearance. He doesn't
Mhm.
say anything, but he's not one of the guests. He's one of the local boyfriends, which is hilarious.
Mhm.
But Walter Goggins, who we're talking about right now, and then Greg, who's Tanya's ex-husband, I guess, because Tanya's dead,
Mhm.
he's in the series. And then the patriarch of the family, all three of these
Tim.
guys, Tim, what is
Yeah.
going on, right? Three
Yeah.
powerful men. And this is not like the previous 2 seasons. So there is some
Yeah.
business shit going on here that we are going to figure out.
Yeah, I think so too. Interesting. For all we know, maybe Greg hired the gays in season 2 to kill Tanya. So maybe these people are all a part of some other scheme he's cooking up. Who
And
knows?
Greg is at this expensive resort, and this resort is supposed to be more expensive than season 1 and season 2. It honestly, that's what it seems like because there's private pools in the villas. Like,
Mm.
Shane couldn't get a private pool, right, in season
Yeah.
2, and then his entire self worth was tied up in a villa. So this is going to be really interesting. I'm actually pretty excited. I love that Walter Goggins character, by the way. If you have
Mhm.
not seen VP Vice Presidents on HBO, it is the funniest show I've ever seen. Like,
Oh, okay.
he's a vice president going up against another vice president, and you know how these HBO shows evolve, right?
Mhm.
Gets pretty
Mhm.
violent, and they're both trying to become
Oh.
president of an elementary school. And it's like the most insane shit. It came out a few years ago, but the Walter Goggins guy, he's like an amazing actor. I've seen
That's
him in
cool.
so much stuff, right? And he's doing a good job in this series too. He plays such a
Yeah.
good dick. Like, he's such a fucking dick. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So then we see this one scene where Chelsea kind of goes off and he starts looking at his phone, all these pictures of Srithela. And again, it's like,
Mhm.
why is he obsessed with her? There's something going on here, you know?
And her
Um,
husband's American, and she marries him, and she says it. They're not trying to make it a secret, but her husband's a very successful American that lives in Thailand.
mhm,
So
mhm,
here we
mhm.
go. What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. It's really interesting. So then finally, Chelsea gets tired of her boyfriend being an asshole. And so she goes to the bar and she sits at the bar. And this super beautiful model woman walks up named Chloe. And they start chatting. And they decide to basically get drunk together because both of their boyfriends suck. And we learn Chloe points out her boyfriend, and it's Greg,
It's
Tanya's
Greg.
ex-husband. Yeah.
And Chloe is beautiful. And she does say
Super
she was a
beautiful.
model. She used to model in London because Chelsea says she's from Manchester and lives in London. And Chloe says she used to model in London. NBD, no big deal. And then you're
Yeah.
right. She like points at Greg, and I'm like, the fuck is Greg doing here? I don't trust this guy, dude. He already murdered
Yeah.
Tanya. He hired the gays, right?
I
Like,
think so. I think
because
so.
he's sitting in
Yeah.
this expensive resort. He's not supposed to have any money. That
Yeah.
was the whole point.
Yeah.
Remember, he's like, I have to stay married to Tanya because I
Well,
don't have any money.
yeah, so she died, so he
She
gets the
dies,
money, right?
and now he's
So,
in Thailand with a.
yeah.
She's 20 years younger than him,
Yeah.
Chloe.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I don't know about Greg,
And
man. Yeah,
and
and
Chloe says that they've been living at a house
that's
nearby the
right. Yeah,
resort for the last
up
year.
on a
So,
hill. Yeah,
yeah, up on a
like an
hill.
expensive villa next to this resort. Yeah, it's interesting because Greg in season 1 he's like a good guy, kind of.
Yeah.
Season 2 he's not a good guy, and now he's doing it again. He's telling her to fuck
Mhm.
off, and he's treating her
Yeah.
like shit. So she's rich, probably, right? But it's kind of interesting because Tanya is more susceptible to someone like that. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that this 25-year-old beautiful model is palling around with Greg, but it must be the money.
Of
Tanya
course,
has
it's the
money.
money. Like season 2, Tanya was so insecure, he leached off of her and preyed on her because of her money. And
Yeah,
now he has the money. So now he has this like hot 25-year-old that's leeching off of him. Right. So
yeah.
that's kind of interesting. But it was also funny at the bar. She's like sitting with Chelsea and she goes, I like your teeth. As
I
Chelsea's,
know.
and
But
she's
she's
like,
pretty. No, dude, Chelsea's a pretty woman, obviously, but she has some British teeth.
yeah, and then she goes, "Are you British, right?"
Yeah,
And, I was just, like, laughing on the couch. I'm like, "Okay."
they're making fun of English people's teeth. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's obvious, but it's like okay,
Yeah.
they're both beautiful women, right? And then they're like,
Yeah.
let's get pissed, and then they start drinking,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, we talked about Uncle taking it up the ass, and we didn't
Yeah.
know that scene was coming, and ends up Jake wasn't his nephew, so it's not his uncle. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm ready for some different scenes. You think there's gonna be no sex scenes, by the way? In eight, this is eight
Of
episodes,
course
by the
not.
way.
Of course not. Of course there's
Yeah,
gonna be sex scenes.
there's 2
So,
extra hours to fill in. So like,
yeah.
I'm actually surprised there was no sex scene in episode 1. The only thing that kind of foreshadowed some sort of sex scenes is like,
Uh-huh.
they're drinking together. I don't want to be like a
Yeah.
creep and be like, oh, they're gonna have sex. That's it. Like these 2 women are connecting because both their boyfriends suck. But
Yeah.
Walter Goggins' character staring at Mook in the room, that gave me the creeps. And then
Yeah.
that's when he walks up to her and asks about the owner of the hotel and her husband.
Mhm. Yeah,
So it
exactly.
might be just the money business thing. So I think
Mhm.
season 2 was more supposed to be about infidelity and sexual relations. And that's why they kept showing the statues, because that statue was supposed to represent the female going to come cut your genitals off, right? If you cheat on her. And
Yeah.
that was a Sicilian lore. And it was a consistent theme
Yeah.
throughout series 2. Here, we'll figure it out. But I think it's supposed to be like an
It's
overall
cut your
spiritual
head, not
awakening.
your genitals,
I
right?
just wanted to say genitals. I know.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I
Alright.
don't think anyone did anything all that bad. Like, you shouldn't be cutting off people's genitals.
Or
In
their
season,
heads, you know? Eh,
really?
I think let people
Off with
keep
their head?
both.
Isn't that like a real thing?
Well, they should get to keep both their heads, okay? Everybody can keep both.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. Oh my god.
um.
Anyways, so yeah, so
Anyways, yeah,
but Greg has 0 lines. He's just sitting there, and then
yeah,
of course we get this, famous meme-worthy line from Chloe about LBHs.
I love it.
What is it?
Losers back home.
Losers back home. Yeah, all these bald guys who are losers back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about this, because I did want to go to Thailand, and I also wanted to go to Costa Rica, and I don't know why. And I'm not sitting here saying I only wanted to go for specific reasons, but someone told me that both those destinations are old bald men, losers
From the
back home,
West, maybe.
go
Yeah.
to both those countries,
Yeah.
and they do what they want to do. So
Good
I didn't
thing
want
you're
to go to
not
Thailand.
bald. Good thing you're
No, I'm
not
not
bald.
bald, but I'm not that old, but I'm 45. I just didn't want to go, man. And I don't
Yeah.
think I would have gone anywhere where there's a bunch of white men congregating trying to meet, whatever they're trying to meet. So, nah, I didn't want to go to Thailand and become a stereotype. I didn't want to become a statistic.
You didn't wanna become an LBH?
I didn't want to become a John.
Yeah. Oh, man.
LBH. So they
So
actually
who
say losers back
Yeah,
home on the show. We're not making this
yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah. So who do we have next? So we went through
We have
who
the
are we missing? The
ladies.
girlfriends, yeah.
Uh-oh. Hello. Man, this might have been triggering to you, right? They're so catty and a
They're
little, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
This is how women be sometimes on a girls' trip. I
But why?
can
But then why do it, Shabnam? Why go?
because you
It's
think that
uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's
It was
really
probably the most
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable, even more so than the sibling section we already talked about. Like, it was really awkward, the 3 of them.
Yeah, they're trying to establish a hierarchy where the celebrity Jacqueline, who's
Mhm.
paying for everything, is kind of on top, but then the other 2 women are trying to, like, vie for second chair, like her right-hand woman, and Kate is, like ends up being that because you just see like Lori's kind of getting insecure. Maybe she looks like the oldest of the 3, and they continuously talk about their looks and the work they've gotten done and their successes in life. And Lori's also the only one single. Kate's married and has kids, and Lori's single, has one kid. And it's really hard to
Yeah.
watch their constant competitiveness, like they're frenemies. It's kind
They're
of like
frenemies, yeah.
Paula.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind
Yeah.
of like Paula and Sydney Sweeney's character from season 1,
Mm.
where
Yeah.
they're quote unquote best friends, but they don't like each other, you know?
Yeah. And it's easy to build tension in a situation like that, right? And I've been on guys trips before and there's awkwardness there too. We're not trying to like one up each other. It's more so like trying to be funnier. It does get a little awkward, but man, we talk about this, right? You are your company that you keep, and
Mhm.
particularly Carrie Coon's character, who's great by the way, you can already see that, hey, maybe she's the one with the gun. So uh, like I said, there's 12 to 15 gunshots in
Yeah.
the beginning of this episode, and there's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of resentful characters, and you can already get that from episode 1. So Carrie
Yeah.
Coon's being probably the most resentful because their interactions, especially
Mhm.
the "You're so gorgeous. No, you're
Yeah.
gorgeous. What do you do? Have you ever done anything?" And they're leaving Lori out.
Yeah,
And,
they're
you
totally
know,
leaving
they're
Lori out,
yeah.
and then they're like, "You're pretty too." It's totally Mean
Later,
Girls.
like
Yeah.
5 minutes later, she's like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, there was another bitch in here."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
she's not even
They're
ugly.
She's
She's
not,
not
she's pretty too, yeah.
remotely ugly, and
Yeah.
they try to actually dress her down, right? You can see that they put some, like,
Stuff on
I
her
don't know, like,
skin to
some
make it
stuff on her
less
skin,
yeah,
less
yeah,
yeah, because the other 2 girls are beautiful. Michelle
yeah.
Moynihan, like, that's
Oh, is
her.
that
She's been in
oh, okay.
so much stuff. Jacqueline, the actress, is Michelle
W
Moynihan.
well,
I can't pronounce her last name.
even
Michelle.
Carrie Coon was
Yeah,
in Gilded Age, and I loved her in Gilded Age, and yeah, they made her makeup look less
yeah,
beautiful because in Gilded Age she does look younger and play like a younger character and whatever. But one of the most poignant scenes was when she goes back to her room. They're in their like
yeah,
condo, and she ends up excusing herself from the conversation because they're kind of making digs at her looks, and then they start making digs at like how okay, the Jacqueline, who's a celebrity, has met a guy, she's super successful, now she's in this relationship. Then Kate ends up talking about how she's in this loving relationship, and her husband is like, why are you going on this midlife crisis trip? And then she's like, it's not a midlife crisis trip, it's a victory tour. And then Lori's not in a relationship, she's single, she has a job, a child. And they make this comment like, your daughter seems to be really cool. Like maybe her daughter's not that cute or something. And then she just excuses herself from the conversation because she's like, why the fuck am I here? And she goes
yeah.
back to her room and she can see through the window them kind of just chatting it up at the dining table, and she starts to like wail and cry. It's like
Yeah.
you kind of feel like she feels so put down and so small and belittled. It's sad and
She's the most
heartbreaking.
resentful, like I said, so I'm putting her as a potential shooter. Like,
Yeah.
I have to, right? There's a lot of business stuff going on with bodyguards, by the way. So
Mhm.
there's also, of course, in White Lotus, we touch on the local culture and the local inhabitants who work at these hotels, and it's pretty specific. Mook is taking a motorbike to the White Lotus. She breaks down. So then another hotel security guard comes and picks her up, and he's obviously in love with her because he calls her princess and stuff.
Yeah,
But then in
yeah.
a different scene, she's talking to these two bodyguards, and the bodyguards are for the American husband of the hotel owner. And she's like, don't they have the coolest life? They get to travel everywhere. And he's like, one time I saved someone from drowning. And she's like, okay, whatever. So there's something
Yeah.
going on within the hotel as well.
Yeah,
A
like,
lot of characters, a lot of interesting characters.
yeah, maybe Mook's gonna end up in this love triangle between the bodyguards and I think his name is Gaituk, the
Yeah.
driver, motorcyclist, and he was, like, really in love with her, and she kinda is giving him the cold shoulder.
She's nice
So
though, right? They do hang out. So there's something going on and bubbling up there as well.
or is
Um
she just using him for the rides?
well her motorbike broke down and she's like, you're not gonna give me a ride. So I don't know. We'll find out because he's giving me Kai vibes from season one.
Interesting.
He could be caught up in something. He's gonna do something for someone and he's gonna regret it.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
the nice guy, right? So the
yeah,
characters are sort of similar in terms of the buildup, but I think obviously the story's gonna be completely different.
yeah, yeah. And then there's good old Belinda. We love
Belinda's
her.
back.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, how did Belinda get here and why is she here?
Mhm.
So then we realize that, okay, she's here for like a wellness training program. And it makes you wonder if Amanda's theory's right, if she got some money from Tanya and she's here doing a training program so she can start her own thing. But we
Yeah.
haven't gone that far yet. We just know that she's there for the training program to train with Dr. Amrita, who we met at the beginning in the shooting scene. And she's there like for the first night on her own, waiting for her son, who then we learn is Zion, to come meet her in Thailand after his finals. And she gets super excited at dinner because she sees another Black couple who are not staffers.
Yeah. And that Black couple, so the woman is Natalie Cole. She was on Survivor with Mike White, who wrote White Lotus. So,
Mhm.
like celebrity Survivor. And he's bringing on Survivor guests from the past, and they're scattered throughout season 1, 2, and 3. So that's Natalie Cole, a
Super
singer.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
it was kind of like oh my God, another Black person. I was in Hong Kong once with a Black colleague of mine, and
Hmm.
he was getting so annoyed because Hong Kong is a pretty diverse city. So there are Black people there, particularly Africans. And every time we were walking down the street, they would just go, what's up? What's up? What's up? And he's like, shit, I have to say hi to every Black person in Hong Kong
That's
because I'm
funny.
Black. So what the hell? But Belinda was pretty happy that there was other Black people there. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
She's like, Zion, there's Black people here.
Yeah, yeah. But it's also cool. She provides a little comic relief because there's like monkeys rustling around in the trees, and she's like, "Oh shit, I don't want
She's
something
scared of shit.
falling on
Yeah.
me." Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
funny. Of like the monkeys and the
Yeah.
like giant lizards that she gets, that she sees on her way to the
I hope she
statue.
survives. I hope she survives
Me
because
too.
you
I hope
never
she
know in
survives.
this series, right? So she
Yeah,
seems like the good glue. Like
yeah.
Tanya was an amazing character, right? But Belinda is obviously a little bit more.
Of a better together person. Yeah,
Yeah, I think she has a little bit more empathy than Tanya does for the
yeah,
world. So
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see. But yeah, I thought she was going to open a wellness center at that hotel, but she's doing a program.
yeah.
And
Which is
they're
interesting.
excited to see her. They know her. They know
Yeah,
her because she's from the White Lotus, so it's like a transfer
yeah,
thing. Yeah. So it's
yeah,
kinda interesting, but so far so good. I actually really liked the first episode. I like the build up, and I really like the characters. I'm actually most excited about those 3 women. Uh,
yeah.
the
Me too.
cattiness is just so much fun.
I know,
It's
I
just
know.
so
It's
much
it's
fun
it's like fun and triggering, and it's like
because it's
this
not us.
buildup of
It's not
emotion.
us.
Exactly, exactly. It's like a
We've
buildup
been
of
there, done that.
emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, where is this gonna go? But like another cool point of foreshadowing is when Belinda goes to the statue with the staffer from the
Mm.
hotel, and he
Yeah.
like starts saying how
Yeah.
they offer offerings for peace, and it's like, okay, so this is not going to be peaceful. I guess
No.
you know, we'll see how it
Yeah.
goes. But
Gunshots galore. It's interesting. It's kind of funny that they started like, okay, one body, like I said, multiple
mhm,
bodies. And now it seems like there's multiple bodies, right? So we'll see
mhm.
what happens in episode 8. But this is so far so good. I loved it. The location was beautiful. The resort itself is like, what the fuck? Like these people get to go here? Like there
Yeah.
should be like a personality test before, humans can interact with other humans at a $12,000 a night hotel. Like for me, if I had $12,000 a night to spare, and go to one of these hotels, I would want to know who the guest list is, right? Because if you're paying
Yeah.
that much, you want to control, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah, it's super crazy.
that.
But,
There's gonna be
like,
some weird shit. Yeah.
yeah, there's all these little moments of
Hmm.
foreshadowing, like, in the beginning when Saxon comes into the hotel and he's like, "Oh, what am I supposed to do if I don't have my phones? Eat this fruit?" Because they basically say that, like, this is supposed to be like a no phone zone, especially the common areas. And so that's, like, another factor that I, like, wonder where that and
Right.
Saxon basically picks up this fruit and the hotel staffer's like, "But you can't eat those because it's the fruit of this tree has toxic seeds." And it's like, "Oh, he's a toxic seed in this family tree."
Uh,
So I'm just like, "Okay, so that's
yeah.
it's."
It's sort of like the knife that they put in Shane's room in
Yeah.
season 1,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Because he wasn't supposed to kill Murray Bartlett's character, the hotel manager, with that. It's just that he was
Yeah,
supposed to cut his fruit with it. So,
yeah.
yeah, the poisonous
Ooh.
fruit, the poisonous seeds, all the gunshots, and the gunshots might not even kill anyone. They might just
Mhm.
be whatever. The show goes in many different ways. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then what was really interesting was we get this like voiceover towards the
Mm,
end, kind of around the scene where Saxon is talking to Lachlan about wanting like sex, money, and freedom. It's like a local person saying, "Identity is a prison. No one is spared from this prison. We build the prison and lock ourselves inside and throw away the key." And I was like, that is so
damn.
interesting. And then you see Saxon kind of talking about how he's just basically all about his desires and wants and needs and doesn't give a fuck about anyone else. And he looks down on Buddhism, basically saying, Buddhists don't try, or like in Buddhism,
Hmm.
the ideal is that you don't try. And you should try, and getting what you want is the way to happiness in life. And I'm
Wow.
like,
That was a
it's
cool
kind of
scene.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what a quote while
Hmm.
showing that Saxon's like the worst person on earth, basically. But so when they show that quote,
Hmm.
I was walking, right? I told you I was taking a big hike
Hmm.
this morning. So I watched this show on my phone and I did like 4.5 miles today. I was in nature. I live in San Diego.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything around. And when I watched that scene, I was like, dude, you are who your company is, right? So
Hmm.
Kate's character, why is she hanging out with Jacqueline, right? And Lori.
Yeah.
I understand you've known them forever, but it's like, would your life be easier if you just removed yourself
Yeah.
from this situation that's making you obviously upset? So, hey, if Saxon wants to go make pussy his number one thing in the world and
Priority.
he's trying
Yeah.
to make Lachlan do the same thing, I
Yeah.
think that quote really made me think. And that's why I said I wouldn't go to any of these resorts unless I knew who the guest list was. Because it's just everybody has like their own issues that are in their head and stuff. But it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I try not to make my issues anyone else's problem, right? Keep it internal. And if
Yeah.
anyone's making it worse, then you fucking leave. You find some other friends or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be hanging out with Jacqueline. I wouldn't be hanging out with any
But that's
celebrities.
but that's not how a lot of people are, right? And we
No,
talk
they're
about
not. No,
that in our
I
show.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's of
Well,
course. Yeah.
but it's exactly what you're saying. That's kind of what I was thinking when I was hearing about this quote, and it's really interesting that you were in nature because this whole episode
Yeah.
shows, like, all the nature of Thailand, so it's super fitting. But also, we do make these identities that are prisons, right? And part of
Mhm.
what I think is really interesting about, like, evolving as people is you can actually change the way you view your identity as a person. And it's hard and it's uncomfortable, but you can evolve like that. But a lot of people don't because it isn't comfortable. And like
Yeah.
we talk about that in our subculture as well. And I think you can see that maybe with these three women as well. They want to be, you know, these successful, beautiful people who have this core group of friends and hold on to that till the day they die. And let's see how that works out for them.
Yeah. You can't have friends like that if you want to be like someone and you don't want someone to have what you have.
Yeah.
You can't be friends with someone like that and they're not friends.
Yeah.
It's sad to watch and I've seen real life situations like that as well.
Yeah, same,
And
yeah.
it's not a woman man thing. It's I've seen
Mhm.
men succumb to power
Yeah,
completely. All their beliefs and values go out the window. I'm curious to see what happens, but yeah, the women bothered me the most, but I think they're not the worst characters on this show.
interesting,
I
yeah.
think the other characters are gonna get worse. This was kind of like low hanging fruit, right? It's really easy to make fun of a celebrity with her little minions running
Yeah,
around like they think they're hot shit. Even the second one, the one that's like second place,
yeah,
Leslie Bibb's character, she's
yeah,
like, I don't know how you can trust someone even like me with my husband being so successful, everyone in Austin knows us now. I forgot where she lives, but I think she said Austin.
Yeah.
It's
Very
insecurity, yeah.
insecure because you're
Yeah.
like constantly clearly you feel unfulfilled, so you're looking for external validation like constantly and in every way. And that's we know people that do that all the time. Everybody does. You see people saying those things and they're doing it to get external validation and to make someone around them feel less than, because then they will feel better than that person. But it's just bullshit. It's all just crap. But before we close, I know you talked a little bit about this, but I think we should hypothesize, who do we think the shooter is from this episode? I think we should do this in episode 1 and maybe like episode 5 too, and like see if our answers have changed.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've already said it might be Lori because she is the most resentful. And from this episode only, I will keep my vote with Lori.
Okay. I think that the shooter's Lachlan.
I hope not. We don't need
I hope
another high
not.
school shooter anywhere in TV or real life or anywhere in the world, because he's a high school senior, but I could see it because Quinn from episode 1 was the best character, which we talked about.
Yeah.
Super sweet boy, wanted to stay in Hawaii, and he just wanted to live a good, fulfilling life. Maybe Lachlan's not like that. I think that's a great point. Yeah, because we don't know, right? So that's the whole point. These characters, they keep the worst shit hidden. So yeah. School shooter, okay.
A resort shooter.
I mean, there is a resort shooter. We're not making this up. Like, there's a resort shooter, and we need to find out what happened. But hey, Lachlan, don't go to UNC or Duke, man. Don't do either. Like, fuck both your parents, honestly. Fuck those specific parents, because they seem like terrible parents. I'm not saying fuck your parents in general.
Yeah.
That was a great show. I liked it. Wow. Actually, the audience, please email us chaiafterdark@chaiafterdark.com. Let us know what you think. And Shabna, maybe we'll do like a little poll. So by the 5th episode, we'll get a good amount of votes, and then we can announce it. And then on the episode 8, we'll make the final release.
We'll see if we're right or not. Right. Yeah.
Hey, maybe we'll let us know who you think, like we did for Breath of Fire in Chippendale. So we can do that as well.
Yes. Let us know who you think the shooter is. We would love to hear it.
It's not me. Yeah, that was supposed to be Solo. What does it mean?
Well, when you go on an Eat, Pray, Love trip, there's not really much to be upset about. So yeah, if you were going to go solo, like, there's not much friction there with others. Like we talked about with Amanda, right? They're trying to leave their problems behind, but their problems just follow them, especially when they go with people that are part of the problems in their life. So,
hey, family, you should have put your phones away.
Yeah,
those phones are going to cause trouble. You should have put those phones away, but they didn't. The problem's following you, right? So we'll see how this goes. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's jingle out of here. This was a great episode. Hey, happy President's Day, by the way.
Yeah, happy President's Day, everyone. And enjoy White Lotus.
Enjoy White Lotus. Please follow Chai After Dark on all socials. You can also find extra episodes on Patreon under Chai After Dark. We got some true crime. We got Jolly Joseph.
Ooh.
Remember Jolly Joseph?
She's not so jolly, She likes to poison
jolly.
people.
Go check that out. We got Indrani Mukherjee, who is still released in India, so be careful if you're walking around out there. The Black Widow lives. Please, please, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everyone.